Welcome back to Havana Media. My name is Boniface Owino, and as usual, I'm going to be your host for today. Now, I would like to appreciate those who are giving us your support. Thank you very much, and may God bless you. I was listening to one of the last videos of the late General Ogolla'S, and to my surprise, there are a lot of questions that speculated on my mind. I asked myself a lot of questions, because as I was listening to the way General was, in fact, it was one of his sermons, the last sermons, and this video is like it was recorded using a phone, because its quality is very low. So I was trying to listen to what General is preaching, and he was really preaching in parables. I wanted to listen to this video before we talk about it. Just listen to it very keenly, and then we'll start analyzing it one by one, every statement that he was making, and then we refer to what exactly happened. Listen to it.
In my military life, I have come to learn the reality of human mortality. I have appreciated that life is finite, humans are mortal, and life is short. One morning, you are with a healthy colleague. The next minute, he is ashes and gone forever. Now you see him, now you don't. Seeing colleagues die in war, in accidents, or in sicknesses, the reality of human mortality lives with us each day. The remembrance parades, the funeral rites imprints in us the eventual end of life and service, whether as a serving person or as a veteran. These final motions we go through imprints in our minds the reality of the end of life on earth. One verse that comes to memory every time I witness these motions, and some I witnessed even this week, John 11:25, where Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. He that believes in me, though he dies, yet shall he live." This gives me the assurance that life on earth is in God's hands. So, and when it ends, because of my faith, I know, yet shall I live.
Now, I would like you to go with me up to the end. And then at the end of this video, please just drop me a comment. I don't know the way you're going to take these things, or maybe the way you're going to reason with me, but I'd like us to go up to the end. There are a lot of things that the late general talked about. He wrote in his will before his death. First thing that the general wrote in his will was this: he was supposed to be buried. He wrote that when he died, he will be buried after 72 hours. Immediately after his death, he was to be buried after 72 hours. That is the first thing. Another thing, General himself wrote and said that in case he dies, he's not supposed to be buried using a casket. He should not be buried using a casket. I want us to go slowly by slowly. The first thing, he was to be buried after 72 hours of his death. The second thing, he was not to be buried using a casket. Now, these words that General Ogolla'S spoke in church, he talked in parables, but no one could even understand what General was talking about. Because how comes you're going to talk about death in church? And the way you are bringing it, it's like, no one is understanding what General is saying. I even remember, those who are reading, those who are Bible readers, you remember when Jesus was teaching. He used to teach in parables, and one of the reasons why he used to teach in parables was for not for everyone to understand what he was saying. So according to Ogolla, when Ogolla was talking about this thing, no one understood anything completely. When the general said this, that humans, that the life is short and humans are mortal, what did he mean by saying that? And then he went ahead and said that one morning you are with a healthy colleague, and then the next minute you are back into ashes. Now, I want us to measure there. That one moment you are with a healthy colleague, and then another moment you are back into ashes. Back then, Ogolla said that he was not supposed to be buried using a casket. The purpose of the casket is to carry the full body. Mtu yote ambaye amefariki, acha nilete kwa Kiswahili kidogo. Mtu yote ambaye amefariki anafaa kuwekwa kwenye jeneza. Kwa sababu gani? Jeneza ni pale ambapo mwili wote unawekwa. Lakini sasa kujaribu kuangalia jinsi ambavyo generali alikuwa anazungumza, alikuwa anasema kuwa hafai kuwekwa kwenye sanduku. So it means that Ogolla knew very well that my body will not be worthy to be put in a casket. Putting my body in a casket will be like wasting money. I don't know if we understand each other. One morning you are with a colleague. Another moment you are turned into ashes. Did Ogolla know that his death will be like, during his death he will be turned into ashes? So when he was writing one of his wills, did he know that the way he will die and his body will be turned into ashes? Did Ogolla know, did he have any clue of how he was going to die? Because, there is no way you can say in your will that you don't need to be buried using a casket. People, we are looking at it like it was just a simple way of maybe not putting the family into a lot of budgets or maybe a lot of celebrations. But when you look at this thing very deeply, you'll come to understand that this guy knew very well that my body will not be worthy to be put in a casket. So when he was talking about one moment you were with a colleague, another moment the body is turned into ashes, he knew very well, because that was the situation. Because even the president himself was saying that on Tuesday we were with the general. The wife was with the general in the morning, even before going to work. So in the morning he was with the family, and then in the afternoon his body was turned into ashes. This thing was very deep. I don't know. This thing was very deep that no one knew. No one saw it coming. That before General Ogolla died, he wrote in his will that his body was not supposed to be buried using a casket. And then Ogolla goes ahead and dies in a plane crash, and his body is turned into ashes. He's burned in a way that even there's no even need of putting his body into a casket. This thing was very deep. This thing was very deep that no one could even understand. No one understood it. There are three questions that I want us to ask ourselves. Number one, did Ogolla know something that he did not even tell his family? Did Ogolla know something, but due to the position that he had, he feared even telling his family? Did he know something that he feared bringing it publicly and telling people? And that is why, the moment, by the time Ogolla went ahead and preached in parables about death in church, it's like he was trying to pass an information. He was trying to maybe think, he thought that maybe someone would understand what I'm trying to say, the message that I'm trying to pass. Maybe someone would understand what I'm trying to say. But no one had a clue. Everybody took it as a normal preaching, as a normal word. No one saw this thing coming. So was Ogolla in a problem, or did Ogolla know something that he was trying to to bring it out, but in a deeper way that no one could even understand by that time? That is the first question. The second question, why did Ogolla just decide to go to church and speak about death in church? And not just a normal death, speaking about dying into ashes, turning into ashes in church, but bringing it in a parabolic way, just like Jesus did. Remember when Jesus was preaching before his last days, when he was preaching to his disciples, he was saying that a time is coming when a son of man will be betrayed. Even the disciples did not know the Son of Man that they were talking about. And he was saying that one of you shall betray me. Those are the things that Jesus was teaching. Jesus even taught about the parable of the prodigal son, the parable of the sower. All those things Jesus taught. No one understood him. Until the last day, when Jesus had died, is when now people were like, oh, and Jesus talked about this thing. And he talked about his death. He talked about being betrayed by one of us. Just like now it is right now. No one understood what Ogolla was talking about during his sermon when he was alive. Now until he has died is when now we are coming back to our senses and realizing that these things that this man was talking about, it's like he saw them coming. He was trying to prepare us for what was coming ahead, but we did not see it coming. These are the questions that we will not get answers. We'll never get answers because the person that is supposed to answer us, the person that may be supposed to give an answer, is dead. And I know that as speculations are going that, who killed General Ogolla, who they want to do investigation about his death, no one will do investigation. Even if the investigation will be done, there's nothing that there will be no positive result. So it is a high time we live talking about this issue of let us do investigation, or we want to investigate, we want to know the cause of the death of General Ogolla. He saw this thing coming. And the last question, was Ogolla under any threat? These are the deep questions that no one will give us an answer. Not even his son, not even the government, not even his family will give us an answer to those questions. Maybe we'll get those answers at the end, during the end time, when now will be called to be judged. That is when maybe we'll get answers. But until the end of the earth or the end of the world, those questions will remain in our minds that no one will give us an answer. This guy talked about these things very deeply and in a very secretive way, in a parabolic way that no one even understood what he was talking about. And I know very well that even you, as you're watching this video, you never ask yourself these questions. That why is it that this guy talked about the death? Why was he singing about one morning you are with a colleague, the next minute the body is turning into ashes? Why is it that he was talking about like human is mortal, life is short? And then just days after his sermon, the guy is dead. Those are the biggest questions that I wanted us to ask ourselves. And until we meet again, I have been your host, Boniface Owino. Bye-bye.